Welcome back everyone. I'll go ahead and show you exactly four different ways on how to fix your Xbox microphone not working. Now what I can tell you first of all is that these are fairly easy fixes. You don't have to take apart anything, and most probably your microphone is still completely working. So what you want to do is, first of all, a very easy thing to do is you want to reboot your console. Whether you have the Xbox One, Xbox Series X or S, rebooting your console can actually end up fixing a lot of these issues, and it's probably the very first place that I would end up, starting at. So once you go ahead and have your console rebooted, what you then want to do is look at your controller and make sure your controller is fully charged, to make sure it has a lot of battery or enough battery to power both the controller and your specific, headset as well. And as long as that's the case, you want to go ahead and actually unplug your controller from the headset and plug it back in. If you notice it and it's a really good connection and it snaps in there, then you probably don't have to do it. But what I would recommend doing at this point is unplugging both your controller and your specific headset and actually looking. If it's a wireless controller, that's different. If it's a wireless headset, then that's different. But if it's actually a wired headset, what you want to do is you actually want to go ahead and clean out that port on the bottom of your headset. And what this ends up doing is that over time, a bunch of dust and a bunch of debris and a bunch of just whatever gets stuck right in there and it gets lodged up. So what you want to do is get some sort of cotton swab, get some sort of prying tool, and actually clean out the inside of those specific areas. And what you're going to find out and what happens is that a bunch of dust and a bunch of just weird stuff is going to end up coming out of there. And essentially, you'll actually be able to get a tighter connection from your specific headset and your controller. So this means that just in case there was a lot of stuff built in there and it was still a good fit, it really wouldn't have worked anyway because the controller just wasn't pairing up well with the specific headset. So that's probably, like I said before, the very first place I would end up trying. And most probably, as long as your console's rebooted and updated, and as long as your controller and headset are adapted and they, sync up, then you should be good to go for the most part. So that's the very first two things I would recommend doing from the first half to actually go ahead and fixing your controller. And the next portions are kind of more like software issues, but that's more of a hardware side. Those are the things I would highly recommend you to do in that specific case. Now the next things, which are more software side, are actually probably updating your controller. Now you can update your console, but sometimes your controller may actually end up having issues in and of itself. And it's pretty crazy and it's pretty wild, but it happens all the time and you just never know. So in order to do this, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and go to your controller. You can have your headset plugged in or plugged out, it doesn't really matter. And you want to turn on your Xbox. You want to hit the Xbox button. You want to hit on System Settings. So you basically want to go into the system settings, and then you want to click on Devices and Streaming, and then you want to click on Accessories. At that point, it's going to allow you, if you have multiple controllers, it's going to allow you to choose your specific controller that you want. And then you want to click on the device info. So there's a little device info tab. You want to select the firmware version box, and you want to select continue. At this point, it's going to go ahead and let you know if your specific controller is on a very outdated version of the software. If it is, it'll go ahead and update your controller. Now, sometimes as soon as you boot up your Xbox for the first time, it'll actually go ahead and make you update your controller anyway. I know it does it for my PlayStation, I think, but my Xbox as well. And this is no different. Sometimes you need to update your controller to use the latest headset. And that's typically the very first thing I would recommend doing on a software side, making sure your controllers are actually up to date and making sure they're syncing up well with your Xbox. So that's the very first thing in a software standpoint. The second thing is actually going ahead and checking the physical mute switches or checking the digital mute switches on your games if there are any. Sometimes there are. I know it's very weird, but just in case your party chat or whatever, if there's any mute switches, if there's anything like that for the game that you're playing, if nobody can hear you, if you can hear anybody, you want to make sure that your in-game controllers and your physical mute switches on your headset are not enabled. And on some headsets, there are physical mute switches. So even if you can hear people and you think everything is connected up and properly done, you still won't be able to have anybody hear you if you're on the mute. So you need to go ahead and unmute yourself, look around your headset, see if there's any mute switches, go into in-game controls, go into your system settings under microphone and see if there's any mute switches if you have your volume all the way turned off. These are pretty much the last resort options that I would check here, and they're typically the easiest things to do. So that's pretty much it. A couple different ways to fix this specific issue. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys can hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.